Welcome back, students, to third and last series of our lecture on news writing style. And again, you can see that I am starting from the same screen where I left. So I'm sure by now you all are clear about all the bullets that I have explained here. I actually explained them in my last lecture. So to repeat, if you have any questions about these bullets that are explained on this screen, please feel free to write an email to me, Firasat, or your instructor, Saqib Salim. All right, so as you can see on the screen, it's news writing style, continued. There are some few more norms related to news writing style that we need to discuss. The first is capitalization, and I think from your experience of academic writing and other forms of writing, you know that we tend to capitalize all proper nouns, and I think the same rules of capitalization also apply to news writing as well. So next is how to use abbreviations. So for example, well, let me tell you this, that most English newspapers, I think the majority English newspapers use abbreviations. This may not be the style in Urdu newspapers. However, in English newspapers, they use abbreviations frequently. So I have written the example of the sentence, the Chief Justice, CJ. So you can see the parenthesis, in parenthesis, the word CJ, which is of course abbreviation of Chief Justice of the Apex Court, has announced whatever. So caveat, you must elaborate your abbreviation when you use it in your writing first time. However, you can use only abbreviation in your subsequent writing. So what I mean here is that when you are writing a news story and you use an abbreviation first time, always elaborate it. So like in the beginning of your news story, you cannot write only CJ by saying that the CJ has announced this. Your reader will not understand what your abbreviation is referring to. In the beginning, like in the very first sentence, you should write the Chief Justice and in parenthesis CJ. It is actually an allusion. I'm saying you are alluding to the idea that in your subsequent writing you may use only the abbreviation CJ. All right, but don't worry if you are confused here. I'll actually, by the end of these slides, I'll show you a news story in dawn.com, and that will further elaborate on this point. So fourth and last bullet on this screen is about being specific. So my suggestion, what I'm trying to tell here is that avoid rambling. And rambling means when writer or the speaker starts talking about inconsequential things or irrelevant things, and most students tend to do that in their writing. But in journalistic writing, you should be as specific as possible, and which means just you should talk about the point that you are actually writing or talking about. All right. So this is actually the last slide of our series of lectures on news writing. And the first bullet here is very simple and very self-explanatory. It says, watch for redundancies and repetitions. So something redundant is something additional, which is really not required. Like your story can make sense even if you omit those details. So that is something we call redundant. It is actually very similar to repetitions. So avoid repetitions in your writing. Next is attribution and quotation. So attribution is when you actually attribute that, well, the journalist has come to know about this story from this source. That is called attribution. It is highly recommended to give attribution in your news story, because that actually increases the credibility of your writing. And quotation, we will also talk about how do we write quotations. I have written the example. Now pay attention to the example here. I have written the Directorate General Public Relations, DGPR, which is the government's public relation department on provincial level, has announced its plan to curb the price hike. Now you see this, the journalist in this example is sharing an information, and he has given the attribution in the beginning that the information is coming from DGPR. This is what we call an attribution. Then next is the example of quotation. The Chief Minister Punjab has said that, you put a comma and then you put quotation marks. In Pakistan, they're also called uh, inverted commas. So we are taking all possible measures to control prices. Please pay attention to all the nitty-gritty details of punctuation. You see the period, which is called full stop in Pakistan, always goes inside quotation marks. And I'll show you the example in a news story from Dawn as well. So always remember, period and commas go inside quotation marks. For some reason, colon, semicolon, and question marks, they go outside quotation marks. To repeat, periods and commas go inside quotation marks, colons, semicolons, question marks go outside quotation marks. Then avoid passive voice sentences. So I think this is something that you have been learning in the course of your academic studies, that we should try avoiding passive voice sentences as much as we can. And the last bullet is, many news stories appear with a byline and a dateline. If you remember, when we're talking about newspaper terminologies, we were talking about different newspaper contents, we all learned what is a byline and what is a dateline, but I am happy to repeat it here for you. Byline is actually the name of the author, the name of the writer that appears with a news story right below a headline. Similarly, dateline is the name of is actually information about the origin of the information, like the name of the city. So, well, now we have discussed all the stylistic norms for writing a news story. Let me take you to an example of a news story from Dawn newspaper. All right, now as you can see on the screen, this right here we have an e-paper, an electronic paper of Dawn. So I'll hit the first news story that I have here, and let me enlarge the screen for you. Okay, now see again, headline. This is the headline, and you can see the headline is in present tense. Coronavirus kills 2 victims in Pakistan. All right, and here these are sub headlines. Well, they have actually given the most important, here this is the most important information. Well, this is the information that is again important, and then they have given it in the form of sub headlines just to give some more information to their readers. This information right here is byline. Like I said, almost all news stories appear with a byline and a dateline. This information right here is byline, and this information right here is dateline. While the incident they are actually reporting probably happened in 2 different cities. For this reason, you see the name of 2 different cities. And it is also likely that you only see the name of 1 city. So this is the style of Dawn, and well, it is up to you to follow whatever style you want to follow for your assignment. I highly recommend that you follow the style that we have discussed in our lectures, and you follow the style that is followed by Dawn. You can see the name of the city and then followed by a colon. Again, this part is byline, this part is dateline. All right, this part right here is the first paragraph, which is intro. And while we're talking about abbreviations in our example, you see here they are abbreviating this center. They are saying Control and Command Center, CCC. And you can see in the rest of the writing, so first time when the writer has written this about this center, he actually elaborated it. But in the subsequent writing, the writer is only using the abbreviation because he has told his reader that what CCC is. So this is what I was actually trying to explain. Similarly, now let me take you to at quotation part. So let's see. All right, now here is a quotation, and they are actually, I think, quoting a piece of information by Punjab's chief minister, I believe. No, PM Khan. Yeah. Talking to media during his visit to quarantine center, Okay, chief minister. So they are quoting him. All right. Now you see, this is the exact direct quotation of chief minister. You do not change it. You do not paraphrase it. You quote it as it is. So you see the quotation marks begin from here, and you can see this story is continuing on page 5, and this is the continuation of the story. And you see the comma goes inside the quotation marks when the quote is ending. He said. All right. Now to repeat, commas and periods, they go inside quotation marks. So I think I have explained in this page, I have explained all stories, everything related to news writing style. And this news story again is a perfect example of a news story. With that, I'll take you back to my PowerPoint slides. And I think we have discussed and covered pretty much everything related to news writing style. At the end, here you can see the email addresses of your respective instructors. If you have any problem, please feel free and do not hesitate to write us emails. And please know we are here to help. Well, with this, I believe and I hope that you all stay safe, healthy, and blessed. Thank you.